everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Trades Lady Happy Hour. I am super excited to be hanging out with this badass chick in her shop. This is Jaime Hjelm, and this is her shop, Wicked Wrench. And I love doing these on-location shoots because we get to actually hang out and chit chat real time, and you get to see her space and see what she's all about. Also, I have to pause real quick before we dive into stuff to say that she is my new best friend. She doesn't know this yet, but Jamie asked what kind of what I like to drink. I said whiskey, bourbon, something like that. So that was all the information that I gave you.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to her, she picked my very favorite. This is the unicorn of whiskeys. This is my favoriteest thing on earth. And I walk in and she's like, is this okay?
Yeah. My guy made me bring it. He had it at home. It's been sitting there. I'm like, what is this thing with the horse on top? So it fits.
It's amazingness is what it is.
Okay.
So thank you. I'm super stoked, and cheers.
Cheers. And I've never had it before.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Jamie's not convinced.
Like brake clean.
It's not like brake clean at all. This is magic in a bottle. Are you kidding me? All right. So, the honest truth here is that this is my first time meeting Jamie, and so we are going to get to know each other, and you guys are going to get to meet Jamie and get to know her as well. And so I just want to kind of dive in real quick and give a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm a current shop owner. I have a shop with my sister. We're in the suburbs of Chicago, South Elgin, which is about 40 miles west of Chicago. We opened back in 2018 to the general public, but before that we were a taxi fleet maintenance shop. So that's really where I learned how to work on cars. I worked on cars that had 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 miles on them.
Oh, jeez.
And kept them together, going through safety inspections and emissions and keeping them in one piece. So
that's kind of amazing.
We still do it. And we work on hybrid cars too.
And how did that start? I have so many questions. How did that start out? Did you intentionally set out to be a taxi service center?
So my father started a taxi company in the suburbs of Chicago back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So over 35 years ago.
Okay.
We have one of the biggest fleets in the Chicagoland area.
Wow.
And my father passed away back in 2018, about a month before we opened the shop.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's kind of bittersweet.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We opened it on his birthday, just to dedicate it to him.
I love that.
Yeah, because he really wanted my sister and I to get into it and kind of help the general public. We have a lot of female clients, and
I love that.
General automotive repair. We're not doing renovations on classic cars or anything like that. So
I love that you said renovations. I say that all the time. I'm like, oh no, renovations are for houses, restorations are for cars. I say that all the time. Yeah. No, and I'm like, oh, damn it.
You know why? Because I work on houses all the time. I just laid tile this past weekend.
Right? It's a renovation. It totally works.
Yeah. So my dad always lived under the pretense to keep everything under the roof, to do everything yourself, save money, buy more cars. So, yeah.
Save money to buy cars.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he taught my brother and I at very young ages paint and body, because he was a paint and body, well, he was actually a frame man by trade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, back when cars really had frames.
Right.
The cheap easy liners.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he taught my brother cars, and then me. I could paint when I was 13.
That's amazing.
Yeah, fleet cars.
Love that.
Single stage, Emron, Centauri.
Hey, painting is painting. That's
right?
Awesome. I didn't even know what painting was when I was 13. I mean, automotive painting at least. I just wasn't exposed to it as a kid.
Right. I think when you have a parent that's in it, and it's so deep that you tend to live it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Absolutely.
and the ironic thing, and I've told this story so many times. So I was around 17 years old. My dad threw me a transmission manual and said, if you could build the 700 R4 in our Chevy Caprices, you would save us so much money. He didn't think I could do it. I think he just did it just to keep me out of the way.
Right.
And the first one I built worked.
Nice.
Henceforth, after we went from Caprices, we went into Crown Victorias, so that I could build those, and then the front wheel drive, which I
And you were how old when you
17.
17, rebuilt your first transmission successfully.
By a book.
By a book. I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that I started with transmission, so I could build a transmission before I knew how to do brakes on a car.
Crazy. You went about things like totally ass backwards.
He did that to me,
which is kind of awesome.
No, because he said to me, go do those brakes on those cars. And I'm like, I don't know how to do brakes. You know, I'll show you once. That's what my dad always was. I'll show you once.
Sounds about right. That sounds about right. I had the opposite experience. I came up in the industry and nobody would let me do anything real. So for the first few years in the industry, I was only allowed to do brakes and belts and hoses and goofy stuff, and then I switched to a different job where they suddenly were like, yeah, you can do anything, and the first thing they put me on was a rod bearing recall on an M3, and I about shit myself. So yeah, it's kind of cool that you learned the hardest stuff first, because if you learn the hardest stuff first, everything else is easy after that. Maybe, kind of, sort of.
Depends. Unless you're talking about sensitive Nissans.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Anyway.
So did you, growing up around it, did you kind of always know that being a mechanic or a technician was what you wanted to be? Or was there ever a point where you're like, I might want to leave the family trade?
No, I always knew I would be in the family business one way or another. So I moved from different divisions of the business over my years. I was in dispatch, and between building transmissions, painting cars. So many different aspects of it. And I've had probably 3 main mentors in my life to teach me. My father, Tony Peaky, who actually works at a dealership now, and my brother. So, it's all been OJT for me. Everything. I've never had any formal training.
Wow.
Anywhere.
Amazing.
And our shop is doing, my guys here, I have a lot of good techs, and they're all certified, but when it really comes down to it, I didn't go to any trade school.
Yeah.
So I think you learn more doing.
And I feel like this is the eternal question that I get asked, and so I think it's actually really interesting to have this conversation a little bit here, but we could probably spend hours on it. That conversation between trade school, to go to trade school or not to go to trade school, right? That is the question. And I think there's value to both. You and I probably went the complete opposite paths. I went strictly through trade school, had no hands-on experience until I got out in the field.
But a lot of people don't have that opportunity where they grow up around it and their family has a shop.
Right.
So if you've been growing up with it and you've been dabbling in it, and on your time off you're working on cars, that's completely different. I have a partnership with the local community college where they send students in here for job shadows 6 weeks at a time. So we'll constantly have students in, and they're actually learning, they're seeing everything that happens here, whether it's working on a taxi that has 500,000 miles, or they're working on a 2021, Jeep Grand Cherokee for brakes or whatever, so the spectrum is very large, and just the things that they see, then they can determine in 6 weeks, is this what I really want to do?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a really important point, because a lot of people wind up in tech school not really sure that that's what they want. They spend all that money, they spend all that time, then they get out in the field and they're like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
So I think a little bit of both is super important. Granted, I don't feel like I actually learned anything until I got out into the field, but because I didn't come from the background of it at all, I knew nothing. So going to trade school for me was like going to high school. It was like getting your basics, understanding the difference between disc and drum brakes. Right. I didn't know anything, right? So I think there's pros and cons to it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a combination of both.
It is, absolutely.
You got to do what's right for you. If you already know your stuff, going to trade school might be a waste of time.
I always tell them to take welding classes too, because
take all
it's
the classes.
Huge for mechanics. I think that a lot of these younger kids don't realize, that using torches and welding is such a important asset to have in any shop.
Well, at least in this part of the country. We're in Chicagoland area right now. I will say that when I lived in New York, torches were very important. Living in Arizona, I can't remember the last time I picked up a torch to work on a car.
Because you don't need to.
We don't need to. Rust? What rust? We don't have rust. I know. On the flip side, anything that's rubber turns to shit really, really fast.
Oh,
so,
goodness.
there's pros and cons.
Oh.
So, when you decided to open up the shop and you were like, was it built in that you were doing taxi because that was family, or did you open up the shop as a separate intention? Like, what was that?
What it was, to be quite honest, is we bought a brand new fleet of taxis that were Toyotas.
Oh.
And we moved out of the Ford brand.
Okay.
And virtually overnight, we saved probably 75% on parts and labor.
Wow.
And my guys were
That's
standing...
saying something huge.
It is. And my guys were standing around, and I didn't want to lay anybody off.
Okay.
And our industry was getting hit brutally hard by Uber and Lyft. So I have the space. I have the equipment. I didn't have to buy one thing but a permit to open my shop.
Interesting.
But that took 4 months. So...
Amazing. So do you still do cab?
Oh, yeah.
Fleet stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, your family still has
Oh,
the
yeah.
cab business?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're not going to let that go,
I love it.
It's my dad's legacy. We'll let it run as long as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
As long as it's alive, and let it be.
I love it.
It practically runs itself nowadays.
Which is amazing. And that's another thing you kind of learned by coming up through it. You learned how to run a business.
Oh, yeah.
Which I want to talk about for a little bit, because I feel like that's the other eternal question that I get is, I'm a tech, I want to start my own shop one day. I'm a painter, I want to start my own shop one day. I think I hear it a lot from like tech school students like that don't even have shop experience yet, and they want to open up their own business one day. I think the opportunity to hear from a successful shop owner and what that has been like for you, were there challenges for you, even though you came from a background transitioning into being a business owner, being a shop owner? What was that experience like for you?
I think it was hard for me because I was interacting with customers more, dealing with problems, and I wasn't working as much out in the shop. So if you truly love that, you're going to lose it because you have other things to deal with.
I knew I liked you. That is like the number one thing I say to people. If you love wrenching on cars, don't become a shop owner.
Because you won't be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like today I got to work on a car, which I was happy about.
Nice.
But
what'd you do?
this is a Lincoln LS, it's 2001, and the customer insisted on having new shift solenoids put in.
Oh.
Even though I don't think that's going to solve the problem, but he insisted.
That happens often, guys.
Yeah, it does.
Customer comes in and states, please replace X.
Yeah.
And then I make them pinky promise me that they won't get mad when that doesn't fix it, because I know that X is not what's broken,
Right.
but they want it fixed.
Yes. Or the 420 code, and they think an oxygen sensor is going to fix it.
Right. Yeah. Side note, it's rarely the O2 sensor.
Right. So, yeah, I deal with that a lot. I just, I'll prove my point.
Yeah. So what role do you play in the shop now? Are you mostly front of house or entirely front of house?
No. So I deal with a lot of the customers over the phone with their issues. Mm-hmm. So I know 75% of what's coming in and what it is.
Okay.
Just by talking to them. And then I have to direct all my techs as to what to do. I'm ordering all the parts.
Oh, wow. So you're like shop floor person, your service advising, your appointment setting. She's doing all the things.
I got 2 other people that do appointments too.
Okay.
But like if we get overloaded, my sister and another girl, Riley, they have to take the front of the house and do it,
Yeah.
and I got to come back here and work, which
you love. You love.
I can't stand sitting at a computer. It kills me. So yeah, if you like working on cars, don't open a shop. Get it out first. Take 20 years and then open.
Yeah, wait till your body's tired of wrenching and you're happy to sit at a desk all day.
But the fulfillment I get from my customers, though, just them being happy,
Yeah.
and feeling safe. I think that's where I get you know, what I love about this. So
yeah, I think there's definitely, I love both sides of it. I love the wrenching on the cars, and I also love the being somebody's hero, like getting their car back on the road, getting them safe to work, getting them safe to home. Like, that's super satisfying. I like having both, but if you only like one or the other, right, like that'll tell you whether owning a shop is the right decision to make for you.
It's a lot of sacrifice, though. You know, you'll get scared to leave because you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't have all the free time in the world and all the money in the world like everybody thinks owning a business will do.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah.
How many hours a day do you work?
Probably about 13.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a few years in of you getting kinks worked out.
Yeah.
When you first started the business, how long of a day were you working?
It was a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, there's tech shortages, too. So, you know, I end up out in the shop quite a bit, you know, because you got to get good help, and you know, it's hard. And that's why, you know, I constantly preach to young people about the trades and how important it is. Not just cars, plumbers and electricians and all that stuff, because we are really going to hit a shortage in the next few years here with guys retiring and women.
And we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Like, world comes to a screeching halt, and I think people are starting to see that.
Yeah.
You know, with the cost of lumber and materials and car parts, even like the not being able to get them, and then add that on top of the labor deficit. Costs of things are going through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Wait times for things are going through the roof. Like, this is the beginning, guys, of the craziness that's going to happen in our society as a shutdown when we run out of skilled tradesfolk.
Yeah. Especially like right now. I mean, I've never seen it like this before, where the dealerships they have no cars, and then the parts stores, you could always get oil filters and brakes.
Right.
Now we're having a problem getting that. So I have 5 screens open on different parts stores.
Trying to find a filter.
Right now it's not about, like, you know, who are you loyal to, who are you buying from, is
who has it.
Right.
Wow.
And my shop, where I'm a little more lucky, is we're only appointment based. So we have no walk-ins.
That's awesome.
So all my parts are being ordered like a week out. And even with that, I'm having issues sometimes. So
insane.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just in the Midwest, because I talked to somebody in California, they're saying they're not seeing that.
I think it's hit or miss. Some areas are getting hit a lot harder, but I think kind of across the board, people are getting pretty hit by it. Just supply chain is all completely out of whack.
Yeah.
Aside from parts and stuff, how was COVID for you guys? Did it stop you, slow you down?
No, we got busier.
That's awesome.
And I don't know how, but we did. We worked through the entire thing.
That's amazing.
The taxi industry, that took a dive.
I bet.
No, the drivers didn't want to drive, and I don't blame them. I mean, they're picking up 30 people a day, and who knows, you know? So that really, so one business went like this, the other one went like this.
Right.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
I can tell you how you survived it and stayed busy. It's because you're a good shop.
That'll do it.
I feel like the quality shops got busier, and the not so quality. I felt like COVID kind of became this equalizer where the bad shops that probably shouldn't have been in business to begin with were really struggling, and then the good shops that were taking great care of their customers, who were doing right by them, who were being fair, who were educating, who were developing relationship with their customers, those shops were thriving throughout all of this.
Yeah.
So it's a testament that you've got a solid business here to begin with.
Yes. Yeah.
How large were you starting out? Like, how big of a shop? Like, have you, like you said, you have a...
No, we've been in this building since 2013.
Okay.
I need a bigger building, as you can see.
We're going to take you guys on a tour a little bit later so you can see everything. Jamie's grimacing a little bit at that because it is a crowded shop in here. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and I have jobs still left over from today. It's about 11,000 square foot shop, but it's... and we're tucked back. We're not like on a main drag or anything. We're hidden.
Yeah.
And I like it that way.
I agree.
You don't need to pay big rent. They will find you.
If you're a good shop.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a good shop, people will find you and they will make their way to you. They'll go out of their way. Mm-hmm. I always heard people would say in like the shop management world that you can expect to have customers from about a 5-mile radius of your shop. And I think that is totally not true.
No.
If you're an average shop, maybe.
I have customers that come from Indiana.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. if you're a good shop, they will travel for you. If you're an average shop, yeah, expect to have them within 5 miles. But if you're a great shop, they're willing to drive past 20 other shops to get to.
Right.
Then it doesn't matter.
Oh, and we have shops galore around here. I mean, like every corner there's a shop,
That's
know?
awesome.
So
huge testament to you. It's phenomenal. So how many years in business now? In this?
3 and a few months.
Wow, so you're still a baby shop.
Yeah.
You're still a baby shop. I love it.
Yes.
And you're doing so phenomenally well. I love it. That is very cool. Now, you and your sister own the shop together, right?
Yeah.
And it's your sister a technician as well?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
She had no interest?
No.
Okay.
She had no interest. My sister wanted to go to college to be an accountant.
Oh,
So
okay.
Which
comes in handy when you own a business.
it does. So she takes care of all the stuff that I don't want to touch. Insurance, payroll,
Which
taxes.
is another really valid point, y'all, about owning your own business.
Yes.
Have somebody else in your crew that likes doing the stuff that you don't want to do, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps to have somebody, a family member, especially that's here every day, or,
Yeah.
I hear husbands and wives do it and stuff like that, but it definitely comes in handy
Yes.
because I'm not into all that.
Right. I had to do all of that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's too much.
And that's the stuff that people don't talk about when they get into business, or when they think about going into business, or when it's like a romanticization, I think, of like, ooh, I'm going to be in business for myself. I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm going to have all this free time. I'm going to have all of the money. I'm going to do whatever I want. And like, that is so not what happens. And I'm so supportive of people who want to start a business, but know what you're getting into and know that it is not all sunshine and roses and fairy tales.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
There is a lot.
I think I missed every single one of my kids' soccer games last year. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices that come with it.
How old are your kids?
I have twin boys.
Twin boys. Oh my
and
goodness.
they're going to be 17 in November.
Wow.
They're seniors in high school. So
Okay, first of all, you do not look old enough to have 17-year-old twins or 17-year-old child at all, let alone twins. So that's amazing. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
How on earth do you do it?
I never divulge my age, Bogey. Never.
That's okay. I'm not asking your actual age. I had a friend of mine, we'll stick to this. Cheers first. Mm-hmm. I had a friend who, this was years ago, she was probably in her 40s, and you would ask her how old she was, and she would say, I'm around 30. Not sure how far around 30,
but around
there. I thought that was a reasonable way of putting it.
Absolutely.
So you have kids, 2. You've been raising them. You've been doing this business. You've been building this business as well as keeping your dad's business going.
Correct.
How?
I have a brother too.
And he's involved in this.
Yes.
Okay, or are you raising him too? I'm not sure where that one came in.
If anybody saw boot camp, then they'll know. Yeah, my brother's a handful. Oh, yes, he is. Yes.
Is he involved in this business?
He is.
Okay.
He actually does a lot of the maintenance on the taxis.
Oh, okay.
Strictly.
Very
He's
cool.
very good at working on hybrids.
Okay.
So, yeah. He'll be doing an engine swap on that Prius over there.
Nice. God, there's so many things to talk about. I feel like we're going to go so far over the time, but there's so many things to touch on. How do you do it with all of the things that you do? You've got the businesses, you've got your kids.
I don't have a life. I live here. So, like, I don't go out ever.
That's even pre-COVID, I'm sure.
Right?
Yep. I feel you, girl. I feel you.
My sister's my best friend. I get to see her every day. So that's in-house, too.
Keep it all in-house.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
You know, my boyfriend, he'll take me out to dinner, but I'm in bed by 9. Really, I am. So
I feel you. Yeah.
I just, I wake up in a cold sweat at night over cars. Mm-hmm. Cars that have never even been in my shop with problems that I've never even incurred. I make stuff up in my head to think about.
I feel like you're speaking directly to my soul because it is very rare that I find other people who like feel this and get this 100%. Yeah. Like 100%.
Like I'll come to work, I'll be like, "Where's that car?" I'll be like, "Oh my god, it was just a dream. It's not here. Thank God."
Do you ever have moments where like a customer will leave and then calls and the first thing you assume is that something horrible happened.
Absolutely.
And then really they were just calling to thank you for your great service or whatever.
Yeah, or like I had my car there last week and I'm cringing. Like,
Right,
oh,
immediately,
no.
like the stomach drops.
Yeah. But I have another car that I need you to
My staff used to yell at me all of the time because they're like, why do you always assume the worst? I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone. It's very validating to hear that I'm not the only one who goes through this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So,
I feel good.
yeah, right? You're not alone. How has it been out here? We haven't touched on this at all. Like, as a woman in this industry, it's you and your sister who run this shop. You mentioned having another woman in the office.
I actually have another female tech.
Amazing, really?
I took her she's on the cover of the magazine
okay.
that's on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Her name is Nadia.
Amazing.
She is in her last year at the community college, and out of all of the interns or shadows or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
she had more ambition than anybody else that came through here. She was a go-getter.
Awesome.
And I liked her so much. She was so sweet, and I could talk to her and explain things to her, and she would listen and follow directions.
Oh my god,
That's
like
key.
the biggest
Follow
things.
directions. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, you can learn this quick, but you just have to listen to me.
100%.
So I've been mentoring her since January.
That's amazing.
I brought her in full time. Well, this summer, but she was working. I gave her a job right after her shadow. So
awesome.
and I'll take students and do that with them if I can, if I feel it's there.
Yeah.
You know.
Listen up, y'all. If you're just getting out in the industry, like, that is so huge. Like, I don't care, and it sounds like you feel the same way about this. I'd rather train somebody up than hire somebody who thinks they know everything.
Correct.
And I'd rather hire for attitude than hire for skill, right? Like, I can teach you how to turn a wrench. I can't teach you how to listen. I can't teach you how to care.
Exactly.
So if you want to find a job in this industry, they're there. Like, your foot in the door is out there where everybody's hiring. You just gotta prove a good attitude.
I think the number one thing I tell these interns is that you treat every car like it's your own, with that kind of respect.
Well, with one caveat, I treat my car like shit.
Okay.
So I always say treat every car like it's your grandma driving it.
Okay.
And the addendum to that is that you like your grandma.
Right. That's true too.
Treat it like it belongs to somebody you love dearly.
Yeah.
Because mechanics' cars are not always the best taken care of.
That's true.
I know I'm not alone in that.
No.
Okay, good.
I got it. One of my kids' cars, his muffler is being held on with tack welds at the moment. I haven't had time to get it back in.
Yeah, my bumper's about to fall off, so like I can't really
wow.
judge. All right. So other topics that came up in conversation that I wanted to come back to.
Okay.
So you switched from Ford to Toyota.
Well, originally, I grew up a Chevy girl.
Okay.
Then we went to Ford.
Okay.
So my dad's way of thinking when it came to taxis were two things. Whatever the police are using are heavy duty enough, or whatever the Chicago cabs are.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
That means that they can handle the wear and tear. So we always mirrored either what the police cars were or the Chicago taxis.
That's smart. Okay.
With that being said, when I worked on the Crown Vics for 10 years or more, I thought they were the best thing in the world. Even though the rear ends would go out all the time.
I was with you this whole conversation. I'm like, we're seeing the eye to eye, and then she says this.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's 10 years ago.
Right.
Because I grew up, my dad was always like, my dad was a Vietnam vet, okay? So he was always buy American. Finally, he was like, that Toyota looks kind of nice, And then the fuel prices went to over $4 a gallon here in Chicago. And the drivers have to purchase their own fuel. So they get the car gassed up, they bring it back gassed up. And when you start losing drivers over it, then you start investing in hybrids.
Interesting.
And charging more. So,
Makes sense.
And Toyota has the best hybrids, I believe. So...
Well, these days, Toyota is probably more made in America than a lot of American cars.
This is true.
But I know that's probably sacrilege for me to say.
No, it's true. The Camrys
it's
are made
totally
in,
true.
Yeah.
I think it's the Camry that is the highest percentage of made in America parts out of any car on the market. That might have changed, but I know like 5 or 10 years ago.
I will tell you a true fact.
Tell me a true fact.
The Toyota, we had we brought about 15 2014 Toyota Camry hybrids.
Okay.
0 miles.
Okay.
We didn't start having hybrid problems until they hit around 325,000 miles.
Wow.
Yes. And with that being said, the only thing we were doing were brakes. 1 12-volt battery. Yeah. That is it.
Craziness right there.
So
yeah.
I had a
Toyota
Prius.
for the win.
Yeah,
I see Faye in the audience. And so I know she's like cheering right now.
Well,
yay, Toyota for the win.
It is. It made me a believer. When these taxi drivers take these cars out and they beat the shit out of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. If anybody's beating the crap out of cars, it's taxi drivers.
Yeah.
That's a huge testament.
Mm-hmm. That's why I have my own alignment rack.
Yes.
Sick of sending them out to other places for alignments. Yeah.
How is transitioning your staff over to doing a lot of hybrids? Because I know there's sometimes resistance.
Not all my
there.
techs do that.
Okay.
So I have 2 techs out of 6 that do.
Okay.
And I think it's more or less because I just haven't had a chance to give them the rundown.
Are they willing to learn? Like I've met some resistance from techs not wanting to, especially older techs, not wanting to learn hybrid systems at all.
No, I haven't gotten that really.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my oldest tech's in his 50s, and he'll work on them, but he doesn't have anything against them. I just really haven't ran down much with him on it. So yeah.
How many techs do you have?
6.
Okay, that's a nice size crew.
It is. And I keep telling the book person, my sister, that I need another one.
The book person.
The book person.
My sister.
I know she's watching this right now. I want another tech.
You always need more techs.
Mm-hmm.
Always. There's always a spot for more technicians.
Yep, absolutely.
So somehow we lost track of this question. We went on and talked about other stuff, about hiring interns and that kind of stuff. But I realized that we never actually talked about the gender thing, right?
Oh.
Is it an issue or is it a non-issue? Do you think it's a benefit, a disadvantage?
It is. Yeah, it's funny. Since I've always worked on cars, I had to deal with that in my early 20s. Okay, like one time I walked into a 7-Eleven after building a trans, and I was just messy. And this guy came up to me, and I was mixing a coffee. And he's like, "What did you just crawl out of a sewer?" I'm just like, really? I mean, the audacity.
No, I've been working.
Yeah, I'm like, really? And then another time, I was coming out of Sam's Club. This was years ago when they sold lots of cases of oil. They don't do that so much anymore.
They don't do that anymore. It's a shame.
For the cabs, I had probably 20 cases of oil.
I can argue.
Pushing it on a platform, and this guy says, "What are you doing with all that oil?" I'm like, "I'm baking a cake." I mean, really? What do you think
I'm doing with all of this oil? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is totally going to be my answer next time.
Yes.
I get that kind of stuff a lot.
Do you cook?
I don't. I'm a horrible cook.
Really?
Horrible. Yeah. When I was young, I got it in my mind that if I never learned how to do cooking or cleaning, then nobody could ever make me. But now I'm like mostly alone, and so there's nobody else to do it.
Yeah.
Which means I often don't eat, and my house is often a mess. But now I'm divulging way too much information. Let's get back to you.
Okay. But as far as the business goes,
Yeah.
it's funny because I thought when we opened the business, okay, we're going to have all women customers, like 99%. It's going to be great. It'll be a chick shop, right?
I totally thought that was going to be the case too.
Yeah, no. I almost think I have more male customers than I do female.
So I agree. I had the same experience, but tell me more about that. Like what?
I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, tell me.
I think that men trust women more when it comes to explaining what's going on with their car.
Yeah.
Because we send all the pictures and videos and stuff like that too.
That's
and
awesome.
I got my Note 10 with, I could write on everything. And so I think the trust factor is really there, and especially coming from dealerships.
Yes. Yeah.
I have people, men and women, coming here crying over stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I remember being shocked by that when I started out. I also thought it was going to be all female customers. And I'd had so many men not respond well to me being a technician, you know, when I was at the dealership, that I didn't think I would have any male customers. And I get out, start my own shop, and it's more men. It is more men than women.
They embrace us.
Yeah, and I feel like as many men don't know what the hell is going on with their car as women these days. I had one guy customer, I asked him, I said, why do you come to me? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know,
yeah.
Why are these guys coming to me?
Right.
It's like my first year in business. And he said, Bogey, I don't have to pretend that I know what I'm talking about with you. I thought that was a really powerful statement. Like, I think a lot of guys feel like they're expected to know. So they go into the shop with like, oh, I think my ball joint's bad. Even though they have no idea what a ball joint is. Because
Well, I don't know, because I do get a lot of guys who say, I would do it myself, but...
Well, I get that too. I get that too. But I had a lot of male customers who liked the fact that they could say, Bogey, it's making a noise, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to feel stupid for not knowing.
I have women say that to me, and I'm like, you know, it's funny because we all do something in this world.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you have to know cars. You just have to be able to trust somebody with your car.
Absolutely. And I don't have to know what you do or know how to do what you do. Like, that's the beauty of having all sorts of different people in the world. And that's what bothers me so much when I hear technicians say, like, oh, these stupid customers, they don't know blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's just their job to know.
No.
It's your job to know.
Right.
And if they knew how to do this stuff, you wouldn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh.
I feel like we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a ton of comments going on, and I'm too far away from the phone to read the questions. I see that there are a couple of question boxes. I have you've got a lot going on in your shop right now. I cannot actually understand that question. I'm so sorry. Just bought a 74 Plymouth with a 360 as a mild cam, but it keeps backfiring. Maybe timing. Oh my goodness, we're getting technical questions now. Okay, I meant more questions along the lines of asking Jamie about her amazing career and all the awesomeness that she does. Awesomeness. No, you are definitely worth toasting to. You are doing...
I got the whiskey right.
You got the whiskey right. You are kicking butt in this industry. So, in addition to kicking butt, as a technician, as a shop owner, as a mom of twin boys, no less, like...
You know what I call them?
Tell me.
Buy one, get one free.
Of course you do. I love that. Buy one, get one free. All right. How do they feel about that?
They don't say anything. They just let me roll with it.
Which is the one you bought and which is the one that you got for free?
The oldest one, yeah.
Amazing. I'm sure they hate that. Okay, on top of all of that and having a great sense of humor, you also were on Bitchin Boot Camp.
Yeah.
We alluded to that earlier. So Bitchin Boot Camp was, for those of you who don't know, was a little mini-series on the MotorTrend app that Kindig at Design Bitchin Rides did to kind of find some new talent. So how did that happen? And oh my gosh, like that is such different work than what you do here.
It is.
What was that like?
So let me tell you.
Tell me.
I got this email one day, and the guy's like, if you have 5 years or more car experience, you can go on this show. Okay. I'm like, really? Okay.
You're like, I got more than that.
Right. Okay. I'm like, I'm set. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know paint and body, but like welding, not like Brianna.
Yeah, nobody is like Brianna. Brianna's amazing.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. So I had no idea, because I know they do more than just paint and body. They're putting there's mechanics.
They're doing
there.
all of the things.
Right.
Yeah.
So here I am thinking, okay, they probably have a section for me there. Because I told them straight up, I am a gearhead. I build transmissions. I build rear ends. I can work on engines. I could suspensions, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they put me in, and this is fabrication. I'm like,
yeah, I was a little surprised by that too. I thought it was going to be all of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I get there, I'm like, wow, there's people here that don't have 5 years experience or you know, there was, so that made things a lot more interesting for me.
Yeah.
Having really young people there that have not like touched into any of this stuff. So
interesting.
It was cool though.
Yeah.
I met everybody there was so awesome.
And you did some really cool stuff.
Yeah, we did. But you know, being that it was a competition, there was nothing scripted in this. I read so many people talking about it. There was nothing fake about it at all. Yeah. You walked in there, you had no idea what they were going to do to you. You had no idea. And I'm just like, if they were going to team you up, if you're going to be alone, if we're doing welding, if we're doing painting, what we were working on, we had no clue. So it was just very
intense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I would have reacted to that. That's a lot.
Yeah, the first episode that Brianna and Mike were in, that scared the heck out of everybody there.
I bet.
Yeah. For real.
If you
I still don't get the concept.
You should go and watch it now.
Of the cylinder. I'm just like, what the hell?
I know, it was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense to watch, and knowing that not everybody on the show had the background in metal and fabrication made it that much more intense.
It did. So, it made it crazy. It did.
I don't even know how I want to phrase this question, but being in there doing stuff that was so different than what you normally do, like for you particularly, how was that? Was it an exciting challenge? Did it feel weird feeling like you have all of this experience and it didn't get to necessarily shine through?
You know what? I think that if you believe in yourself and you have the confidence, you can do anything you want to do.
I love her. Yes.
Regardless of what it is. You may not be the best, but heck, there were 11 other people there. You just had to be better than
one. Let me just not be last. I just don't want to be last.
Exactly. And the worst part is on my elimination episode, I had to wait 3.5 days.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there was a big delay
there.
Oh, God. That's awful.
It is. I was so like, sorry. Oh my God, I'm so done for. But I'm going to have fun while I'm here. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. That's I think just the people alone that we met, like Brianna or Des and Josh, I mean, and Patrick, there's so many great people from all around the country. And they straight up, they spread us out. The only people that were remotely closer to me and my brother.
Right.
So
that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah.
Being on TV, seeing yourself, what was that like?
It was hard to sit there and watch yourself. I'm like, look at that face. Did I really have that kind of attitude? My sister's like, you're like that all the time. I'm like, am I? So, yeah.
Oh yeah. TV will immediately give you feedback that you did not want.
Yeah. They're brutal.
Yeah. All right, so how did you deal with that? Like, let's talk about that for a second, because I've had a number of years to kind of deal with it, and I still have struggles dealing with the internet and the world,
the
and
nastiness
the
of
and the
some
nastiness.
of it.
Yeah, like
what
was your experience?
Honestly, I think I've got more people being positive than negative, and nobody was directly negative to me. But if I went on to certain pages just to read about the show, and they're like, "Oh, this is fake," da da da. Right. And it's like, I'm not gonna. You know what? Why am I gonna even interject at this point? They're not gonna understand what I'm saying to them. Yeah. That's why I tell people this is not scripted. Everything that happened was real. There was no double takes, none of that. This was straight up what happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm very thick-skinned coming from the taxi industry where I've seen so much in my life.
I feel like, you'd had to be.
Yeah, but at the same time, some things can be hurtful, but they don't walk in our shoes, do they?
No, they do not. They do not. Yeah. Did you have moments ever where, I feel like this is kind of irrelevant even for folks that haven't been on TV or don't deal with that. Like, I think in this day and age with social media, like, we're all kind of in front of the public eye in some way or another if we're choosing into social media. And I think a lot of young people particularly, and old people, we deal with like harassment online or negative comments or just crap online. Did you have any moments where stuff got under your skin, or like how did you protect yourself?
You know what? I for boot camp, no. But when I first opened my business, I did.
Okay, tell me about that.
Like, I would have people make comments online about, like, for instance, our labor rate, because I wanted a more fair labor rate than what's in this area. and we got slammed for that.
Okay.
And then woman-owned shop slammed for that. Oh, you know, the ones who own the taxi company slammed for that. You know, it's just like, you know, anything that other, and I think a lot of it might come from other businesses too.
Yeah.
You know, what they could, yeah.
So how do you deal with that? And what might be your advice to other folks who might be dealing with negative stuff for whatever, right, that they might be getting online?
I think that you just have to be bigger than that, and you have to ignore it, because at the end of the day, that's not what pays your bills. That's not what takes care of your family. That's not what gives you peace and happiness. Those people are so angry with their lives and themselves that that's what they spew and like project out to other people. So that's all I can say, you know.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely correct. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all have those moments where stuff gets under your skin that maybe you know shouldn't.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Sometimes I dwell on it for 24 hours, you know,
Yeah.
like, why would somebody be like that? Why would somebody be that hateful? But at the same time, I mean, not all people are nice. So,
No.
you know.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think sometimes we have a tendency to focus on the negative instead of the positive, because when somebody gives you a positive comment, you probably don't dwell on that for 24 hours.
Oh, no.
So it's an interesting thing that like the negative stuff kind of stands out, and I think it gets under all of our skins at various times. But going back to your point, like they're not the ones who have to look at them. Like they don't. You have to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the night, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like you have to be happy with what you do, and the rest of it,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Okay, so we talked about Bitchin Boot Camp. We talked about your shop. We talked about Toyotas versus Fords.
Yeah, we did. My sister just bought a brand new Toyota RAV4 hybrid.
Nice.
Sweet.
I bet. I drove a RAV4 as a rental car like a month ago, and I was super impressed with
Yeah.
it. It wasn't a hybrid, but I was super impressed. I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. I'm a BMW girl, and close your ears, fakes. I don't want you to get a big head, but yeah, I'm kind of on board with the Team Toyota. I'm going to be hearing about that from Faye the next time we shoot it all girls, but all right, it is 7:46, so we have about 15 minutes left. I do want to do a little tour of the shop. I want you to show everybody around.
Okay.
But I want to kind of, there's a couple more questions that I want to ask you before we go on the tour. So for those of
Shoot.
you watching, if you want to come on the tour, stay and hang out. We're going to be doing that shortly, and we're going to see all the fun stuff she's got in her shop and see what a successful auto repair shop looks like and acts like. She doesn't like the Blamptons. Yeah, I can take this bottle off of your hands. I mean, I will happily subject myself to that. This is the most amazing whiskey on earth, and she's not feeling it, but that's okay. I like you anyway. We can be friends anyway.
Since you're a BMW girl.
Yes.
You know what I drive?
What do you drive?
A Mini Cooper.
I love Mini Coopers. They're so much fun. Have you worked on them at all?
Yes, we do, actually. I have a Clubman.
I feel like they're like Lego cars.
They're
feel
little
like
go-karts.
Everything comes apart
Yeah.
really easily, like Legos. Like, did you ever take the dash off?
Oh, hell no.
Oh yeah, I had to do an evap core on a couple of them
Oh, no.
actually, and like the whole dash comes off with like Velcro and a couple of bolts. So I mean, like legit, there's Velcro.
That's funny. No, I
Like it's
haven't
kind
had
of amazing.
Wow.
I love Mini Coopers. I really, so true story. I want an OG original Mini
Oh.
Cooper so badly.
I did Mini Takes the States.
You did what? Who? Huh?
You've never heard of that?
No.
BMW pays for entertainment and breakfasts, and it's called Mini Takes the States, and there's usually around 1,500 Mini Coopers that go from coast to coast in a caravan on back roads doing cool stuff.
How have I not known about this?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
My sister's like, when you buy a Mini Cooper, you also buy friends. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
So you did this?
Oh, I did it with my boys in 2016.
Oh my god, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, we actually joined in at the largest candy store in Minnesota, and we took it all the way to Palm Springs, California. And my sister's Mini was she was following us, but she broke down 4 times. First it was a low pressure pump, then the high pressure But then we all got together in mine, because I have the clubman, and
Okay.
we went the rest of the way. But then we couldn't go to the Redwoods because we had to go back to Vegas and get her car. Yeah.
We never said they were good cars, just that they're fun cars.
They're fun cars. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sounds so awesome. Now I want a Mini Cooper just so I can do that.
Yeah.
Can the classic Mini Coopers go too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Even BMWs are invited.
I want to do it in an OG Mini.
But since COVID, I think that they made the distance shorter now. Like they're
Okay.
doing the drag. I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast, but it's not. It's not going coast to coast right now because of the pandemic.
We'll wait till it comes back.
Yeah.
That sounds really awesome.
It is really cool.
Okay, before we get too off topic, because I feel like we could just sit and talk for hours, and we will probably do this after the camera turns off. We will continue to talk for hours. Sorry, guys, we don't want to keep you on for forever. But I do have a couple of final questions for you. We touched on some of these things, but I normally end with some like inspiration, words of wisdom kind of stuff. So I want to do twofold with you.
Okay.
One is words of advice to somebody who wants to open up their own shop, and then I'll ask the second one afterwards.
Be prepared to give everything. Time, energy, your life, your money, and maybe even bits of your family. So you just have to be prepared to be all in.
Not to be morose or anything. It's true though.
It is.
It's so true. And that doesn't mean it's not worth it sometimes. But
I
you
mean,
have to be prepared.
Hard work pays off. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you put your everything in, you're gonna get more than that out.
everything back.
But it's gonna take time.
Absolutely.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, and not without a lot of sweat and a lot of blood and a lot
Right.
of tears and a lot of death. All right. Second question.
Shoot.
The younger you is sitting out there watching this. Either the younger you or the little girl or the little boy who wants to do and be what you are doing, whether it's the mechanic side, whether it's the shop owner side, whether it's just the successful adult kicking ass in the world. Like, what is your advice to the little young Jamie out there?
I want to say enjoy your young years first and foremost, and reach for the stars.
Spoken like a true mom.
Yep.
Simple, to the point, and so true. Everybody's in such a rush.
Reach for the stars.
Reach for the stars on her glass. She's
Yep.
not actually talking about whiskey. She's
There's
talking about
stars.
stars on the glass. And we are reaching for the stars right now. Beautiful.
Damn.
Yeah, this is. It's not growing on her at all. She's not hiding it very well either. I do want to tease to those of you that are still hanging out and are watching this that there is big stuff coming from this young lady. We can't tell you about it yet, but there's some really cool stuff that she is up to. So you definitely want to give her a follow, check her out, support what she's doing, support her shop. So this is Wicked Wrench Co. is her company, I should say, not co, is her shop here in the Chicagoland area. Jaime Hjelm, amazing woman, very talented technician, amazing shop owner. I've had a blast getting to know you and hang out with you a little bit, and you guys should definitely make sure you check her out and follow her along, give her some support, and stay tuned for big stuff coming from her. So I am going to, we're going to pick up the phone. We're going to do a little bit of tour around the shop. For those of you who don't want to hang out for the rest of the tour, I will thank you for coming and hanging out with me for the evening and getting to know Jamie, hanging out with us together. Next week, we will be doing another happy hour with another amazing trades lady. And as always, you can catch all of the past episodes on my IGTV. There's like 60 of them now, so 60 amazing women that you can go check out and learn awesome stuff about. And so for those of you who aren't sticking around for the tour, be good to yourselves, be good to one another, and I will see you next week. And with that,
Thank you.
let's go look at some stuff,
Okay.
shall we?
I didn't sweep the floor.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be a real life tour here, y'all.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pick up the phone. We're unplugging it. And I'm going to turn the camera around so that you, if I can figure out how to do that.
Okay.
And you're going to watch Jamie give you a tour. Okay. So, all right.
So this is rack one I have here. My techs are not assigned racks, so it's kind of first come, first serve.
Okay.
And they're all running towards whatever they want. So
Interesting. So what do they do with their toolboxes then?
most of them have carts.
Okay, so they just roll them around.
I have the giant toolbox over in the corner.
Oh, we want to see the giant toolbox in the corner.
So
All right.
this is over on this side. This is a Peterbilt. I was explaining to Bogey when my dad passed, he left us here. And this Peterbilt's been in our shop under roof for 25 years.
Insane.
And I don't know anything about diesels, so I'm going to have to figure this out. Like maybe call garage squad it. I don't know what I do with this. Don't know.
It's kind of cool though.
I have another tech working on putting this 300Z together. It is not mine. It is a customer's car.
Okay.
This is a Taxi XB engine trans combo we had just pulled out of a wreck. So we're going to put it in a different car. Toyota Prius Gen 2.
Okay.
We're doing an engine on it right now. This is a 71 Roadrunner.
Ooh.
That's my Pontiac Bonneville, which actually was on the lowrider show circuit in the late 90s.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's another part of my life.
Oh, and it's purple.
Yes, it is. Do you recognize that purple?
Is that plum crazy or no?
No,
that's not.
Actually a Ford Mustang, Ford
Is it
Ranger,
really?
Ford Escort purple from the 90s.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So
I'm going to squeeze through these cars here.
my guys just dropped my engine in on Friday. I was talking to some customers. They wanted to get off the floor, and they snuck it in on me. So
That's awesome.
this is my sister's truck.
So this went on Power Tour, you said?
This went on Lowrider magazine.
Lowrider.
Yeah, it was on tour 98, 99, 2000, 2001.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So we've barely scratched the surface with
there's a
how
lot.
many awesome things you've done in your life.
Yeah, I used to travel the country with the Bonneville as a lowrider.
That's so awesome.
So I have many, many, many trophies.
Nice.
We have a 52 Chevy Chop Top
Ooh.
over here. That's actually my brother's car. But, some of these things get tucked because we're so busy working.
You have to keep the bays making money rather than doing project cars.
Yeah,
That's the other fun thing, y'all,
Yep.
about owning your own shop is that you can't take up the bays with non-money making stuff.
Correct.
So your stuff gets pushed to the side.
Right. So this is a Kia that the engine, piston went through the side of the block because somebody didn't put oil in.
Oil changes, they're important.
Yeah, so that's the replacement engine there. There's my toolbox back here, the XXL.
XXL, yeah. All right. That's the girl's toolbox. I love it. Is that green?
Yeah.
Nice.
Our cab fleet.
Nice. That is a big box. I dig it. Everybody's always obsessed with boxes.
Yeah, it's exactly.
They want to know what the tools are in it.
And then these are all extra taxi engines sitting up here.
My
All
gosh.
Toyota engines, hybrid engines, all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome.
just my storage area. This is my 2,000-gallon waste oil tank.
2,000 gallon? Good Lord.
I know, right?
I had a little teeny tiny one at my shop. They just had to come and change it often.
Yeah, no, I don't. Our oil actually it's on the runways of O'Hare Airport. That's where our oil goes.
Oh, how cool is that? I love, side note, that it's called Lube Cube. Sorry.
It is. Cute. Watch out, I got hybrid packs on the floor over here.
Yes, you do. Hybrid batteries.
So this is my John Bean alignment rack. No, I do not have a Hunter. Snap-on actually sold this to me, so yeah.
All right.
I got some free stuff with it.
Nice. You got free stuff with a $30,000 alignment rack? No. How much? 60? Ooh, they've gone up since I shopped for one. This is why I never did alignments at my shop. It was cheaper for me to just send them down the street to the guys I trusted.
This is my truck lift.
All right.
We had to get that because we were working on plumbing trucks and the towers started going in on us.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and then this is the Lincoln LS I was working on today. So, yeah,
Nice.
we got a bunch going on.
Nice. Not a bad size shop. I have to say I'm kind of impressed with how much stuff you've crammed in here and how functional you're staying as a shop, because I couldn't have that much stuff in my shop. My shop was set up differently.
Yeah.
I had 5 bays in a row, and then that was it. The driveway was
Okay.
It was individual garage doors into each bay.
Well-
so I couldn't have done all of this.
When we got this shop, this was just a fleet maintenance shop, and it would do.
Right.
So I think we've outgrown it. Plus, having a Peterbilt semi in the middle.
It takes up a little bit of space.
Yeah.
It sure does.
It does. So, yeah.
Let's turn the camera back around. All right. So we've got some fun storage up there. I got to say, like, you've kept the place really clean. I know it, like, you said that this is...
It's hard to keep
It's a mess, but it's not. This is a really clean shop. I've seen way worse.
Okay.
Here's our little filming station. You like that, guys? Somebody wants to know what's in the Roadrunner.
Nothing. I mean, it's pretty sad.
Nothing.
Just a 383. The owner, like I said, we don't restore them here. But the owner let the fuel in the car for about 3 years.
Oh,
So we
okay.
had to pump all the fuel out, putting a new distributor in, and probably rebuilding the car, and then it's going. So it's nothing but just getting it back on the road.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can we see your front of house?
Sure.
What the customers see?
Yeah, absolutely. I bring my
Oh my
customers
gosh.
back here.
What is...
That is the men's bathroom. I don't
No,
even go in there.
this.
Oh, that actually came out of Woodfield Mall, which is like one of the biggest malls in the country.
Victoria's
Lockers.
Secret or
I
Gaucher.
make the guys use it. It's
That's
hilarious.
amazing. I love it.
That's my humor. I'm so bad to them.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I dig it. All
This is
right.
like our fleet back in the 80s.
Oh, how cool is that?
This is back from the 90s, the Crown Vics. Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is my office, which has got car parts and
Of course.
the bookwork's in the back corner over there with my sister. She's got all that paper.
I love all your fun stuff on the walls.
Well, if I live here...
Well, right.
You know.
If you're going to live at your office, you should really like the way it looks.
It's my favorite picture right there.
Yeah, look at that, guys. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the name of your company. Where did that come
I
from?
wanted something that looked really good on a t-shirt. And you know what's ironic about that? I still haven't done a t-shirt run. So, whatever. Yeah.
All right. So we got some offices. We got some...
TechNet. This is the college magazine we were on the cover of that went to like 200,000 homes, which was cool.
So this is your apprentice girl?
Yeah.
That you took
exactly.
on full time?
That's Nadia. That's my
awesome.
sister, Naomi. There's me. Yep.
I'm going to say good write-ups like this are like... They're gold.
Yeah, they are.
They're gold.
Yeah.
If you're running a business that's really just founded on doing right by people, then you get media attention, and then that is better than any advertising you could ever do.
And then the table we were sitting at.
Yes. So
sit here.
your little loungy waiting area.
Mm-hmm. I usually don't have many people wait. Most
Okay.
people are dropping off their cars.
You have Pac-Man.
I do. That was my dad's favorite, so it went in.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's one of the newspaper articles that
Awesome.
for.
I had this same setup at my shop
Okay.
for customers' businesses and whatnot.
So I also teach classes for automotive basics to Girl Scouts or anybody who wants to learn for free.
Yes.
On a monthly. I mean, before COVID, it was every month, but
Yep.
now I do it like a couple times a year. So.
That's awesome.
And the Girl Scouts earn their badges.
Isn't it so much fun? The Girl Scout, I teach car care classes as well, and the Girl Scout classes are my favorite. Do you have that same? Like,
I do. Because
I'm always so impressed with them.
13 to 17 usually.
Yeah, and I feel like they ask some of the most amazing questions.
They do. But they truly act like they want to learn.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, I taught a group of Girl Scouts once, and one of the girls asked me exactly how a rack and axle, like a rack and pinion works. And I was like, I have never had a grown-up ask me that question. But this,
Right.
like, little 13-year-old is like...
I had a woman ask me that last week.
I love it.
The
How
first
funny.
time.
I know. I'm like, how do I put how a rack and pinion
I'm like,
works
let's
into
go out
really
to the
basic
shop and
layman's
I'll show you
terms?
one.
Yeah, I can show you better than I can explain
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. So
This place is awesome. I
I
love...
cut this all with our vinyl machine that we use for the taxis.
Did you?
I
That's
got these images online, and I'm like, I gotta make this, comfortable.
I love it. I'm going to just tour everybody around the shop a little bit. Like, this is so cool. I used to do these, I called them my love bombs. I had little stuff like this around my shop as well for the techs and whatnot. So this is like, I feel like I'm at my shop. I love it. This is awesome. You've done a phenomenal job.
Thanks.
All this awesome press. So good. So are you looking for a bigger space, you think?
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, you gotta just to find the right place.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
square footage, parking, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look through and see if we have any other questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Lots of people who are very proud of you. Let's see if we have any other questions. No, I think we are good. All right, so I'm gonna turn this camera around. Is there anything we haven't seen yet?
No, I think we're good.
All right, awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, what?
Hold
Something
on.
else.
You know,
Hold
there is
on.
something. I'll show you a picture of my car. Hold on, hold on. This is one of our storage areas.
Okay, I'm not going into the dirty storage room, but she's bringing something awesome out of
From
it.
the 90s.
Oh my god!
That's
all right,
the car.
I'm turning the camera around for this.
That's me too, but.
Oh my! Oh my god! That's amazing. Check that out, guys.
Yeah.
It's a bombshell. So you can be the hot model who poses in front of the car and the badass who builds it and fixes it.
Well, you can be if you want.
Yeah. You can be whatever you want.
Exactly. Reach for the stars.
Absolutely. I love it. Oh my goodness.
I know, you can't get that full effect seeing the car with the whole front flip off.
No, that is true. That is true. Awesome. All right. So that's it. That's the shop. That's Jamie. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. And I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed meeting Jamie. Make sure you go check her out and give her some love. Like I said, stay tuned. She's got big stuff in the works. So until next time.